everybody, welcome back to Simply a Breeze. My name is Bree. If you are new here, today we are probably going to be doing one of the last uppottings of all of our seedlings. We need to uppot all of our flowers. The tomatoes are getting pretty desperate. It's time for those to be uppotted, and I'm going to show you a trick that will help make your tomatoes much stronger. And then we have some herbs that are also looking like they need to be uppotted. And my goal is to start the last of our seeds today as well, which is going to be our squash. I believe that's it actually. Oh, and our borage. There's a couple more flowers we need to start, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put those in the bigger containers already so we don't have to uppot those again. We're just going to put them in one container, and then the next time they get moved, it's because they are going in the garden. This morning I have been getting the garden prepped and ready. I've been putting a bunch of compost and manure into the garden beds. We're going to let that sit for a couple of weeks. That way when we go to put the plants in, the nutrients have started to really seep into the rest of the soil, and that way we don't shock the plants with like the sudden, some of the heat. The compost wasn't 100% broken down still, so we didn't want to like burn the plants. And me doing that now is going to help the plants out when we get them into the garden. So I'm super excited. Also, because of all of the things we are going to be uppotting, it's probably high time we get some more lights set up because we're about to have a lot of stuff under grow lights. I think I want to start by uppotting things because all of my seed cells, I may have one more, I don't know where it is, look like they're occupied. So let's go ahead and get things uppotted first. Let's see. Oh, there's another seed cell in here. That's okay. Let's take a look. Okay. I am officially out of all of my square pots. So what we are going to be using are a bunch of pots from when you purchase at a nursery. They are not square, they are round, and because of that, they may not fit in our cells very, very well. So it is because of that I also went ahead and I bought a couple more trays. These are a little bit shallower than the trays that I already have. And I did that simply because I discovered a like white fuzzy mold issue because air wasn't able to flow when I would water, and that caused a mold issue. So I want to try to avoid that again. Thankfully I had enough trays to like transfer things over and I was able to catch it in time, but these shorter trays will allow for more airflow. So I did buy some shorter trays. Let's see. And I am most definitely going to need to get more pots. So let me see if I can find more. Because that's not enough. All right, we found more pots. And I did have a couple more square ones. And then these, some of these came from my garden center. And then some of these came from my mom. And I forgot to give them back to her. So, sorry, Mom. They will make their way back to her. But now we've got enough pots. I feel pretty confident we're going to have some success. It looks like I used up the last of the potting soil that I had the last time we were down here. So I'm going to open up some new potting soil, and then what we're going to do is we are going to mix in worm castings. Worm castings do provide a lot of nutrients. Let me show you. And essentially, worm castings are made 100% earthworm manure. So that's what earthworm castings are. Let's see. It says 1 part earthworm castings to 4 parts soil. Is what we're doing. And then it provides nitrogen. So this is just going to help with the shock of the plants when we transplant them. I do have a little bit of earthworm castings left, so we'll use this first. Empty. Okay. I love the smell of soil. And then update, I did have, I don't know if I told you this the last time we were down here, but I did have a hot jalapeno and one banana pepper plant not survive the transplant that we did. And that's okay. We're just going to reuse this soil. That soil is not going to go to waste. And then we have another pot. And then this is just regular potting soil. I believe the brand is Vigoro potting soil. It was the brand at the time that was affordable. It is not the best brand. However, I believe, am I Gardener? No. Epic Gardener. He did a comparison with all of the soil, and the Vigoro brand did okay, I believe. So that's what we're using. Good thing I'm already covered in dirt. Okay, we'll start there. That's enough to get us started. It's not enough for everything. Also, I need actual scissors for that. Because the butter knife, maybe, let's see. The butter knife worked. Sweet. Yes. Trusty old butter knife. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit more earthworm castings in here. I don't want to overdo it. And then because this is what I'm doing, I am not going to fertilize the seedlings right away after transplanting. We'll give them a good drink, and then we'll wait 1 or 2 more waterings before we fertilize again, just because I don't want to essentially like make them toxic, because too much nitrogen is also bad for your seedlings, and so I don't want to do that to them either. All right, so let's go ahead and fill up these square pots really quick. Let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with the tomatoes. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Look at our tomato seedlings. They look so good. They're very healthy. I'm excited to get these transplanted. The things that I want to put in these small pots are the spearmint, the thyme, and the oregano. So let's get those transplanted first really quick. They are also looking incredibly healthy. Let me show you real quick before I possibly killed them all. So this is our oregano. It is looking so good. I'm really hoping we can keep it alive this year. This is all parsley. And then we've got thyme right here. And then here we've got some spearmint. That guy's looking real good. And then we got dill. And then we've got our kohlrabi right here. I'm very happy with the germination on our kohlrabi. And then we got our tomatoes. And they definitely need some nutrients. Oh, goodness. Oh, good. No. I'm really trying not to disturb the roots too much, because I don't know how I'm going to separate these. Let's see. There we go. don't know. These are so hard to separate. Like, look at how densely packed those are. So I'm just gonna up pot the cells and leave all the stuff that's in them. Or do I put them in a bigger? I think that's the play. Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. It's really hard to handle the super delicate stuff with gloves, so off it all went. Oops. Can we save it? Yes, we can. Okay. We're gonna stick this guy in its own little corner right here. And then we're gonna grab this one. This one's looking pretty healthy. Oops. And this other one, we're going to stick in the opposite corner. And then that'll give them room to grow. And hopefully it increases the chances that they live. I'll do 2 more cells of the oregano, because one of the cells does look a little sad, and then we'll call it a day on the oregano. We won't save it all. Okay. I don't remember what I've done in previous years for herbs like this because they stay so small for so long. I just want to make sure they survive. So there we go. Our oregano successfully, well, hopefully. We'll find out if it was successful or not here in a little bit. Okay, we won't know immediately, and that's okay. This thyme, though, I have an excellent looking thyme plant. So let's move on to the thyme.
So I don't think I made it very clear, but this year my approach to these herbs is that I'm not trying to separate them. It's just super harsh on the herbs. They're very delicate from what I've learned. So I am just going to leave them in the clumped cells that they are already in and see what the strongest survive. I may go through and thin as they get just a little bit bigger when certain plants start to look stronger than others. However, in the past, I think I've tried separating these smaller, delicate herbs and I just end up killing them all. And I did have success with thyme last year, successfully transplanting when I just left it alone and I didn't try separating everything. So that's my approach to all of the herbs this year. I didn't even attempt to separate them from their partners within the seed cells that they were in.
All right, all of our parsley is up potted as well. That's exciting. Okay. We'll just put some tape on the side of those pots. This way if I get it confused with the cilantro and parsley, they do look different if you study the leaves. The leaves are distinctly different. However, better safe than sorry. Oh, that's upside down. That's okay. dill wedged in here as well. All right, now for the kohlrabi. This is gonna be exciting. Honestly, if I was really thinking about it, I should have put the kohlrabi in these pots because I'm giving my mom some kohlrabi. But now I really don't want to disturb the dill. I don't want to keep messing with it. Okay, which kohlrabi? Which one are you? Ah! Hang on. Let's look at our notes. Our notes. Red kohlrabi. Green kohlrabi. Okay, the green is on the right. And the purple or the red is on the left. Okay, good. These are root bound a little bit. We're gonna take the strongest. Let's see if we can separate them without absolute destruction. These are pretty root bound. Okay, don't do what I just did. These are very, very root bound. And so trying to separate these is gonna kind of be traumatic. Should have gotten to these sooner, but honestly, just the way life is. I couldn't get down here until now, so we live and we learn. Every year is a learning year when it comes to gardening. Has been my motto, been my experience every year. Ooh, that one's probably not going to survive. We most definitely traumatized that one. It's okay. You can tell by the leaves, I think, of these, if it's going to be what color. And it is what it is. This guy might survive, because that wasn't as traumatic for him. It was definitely pretty traumatic for this one. And I think we're just going to let him go. Because I didn't want to grow a lot of these. Thankfully, this one, there's only one. This is my first year growing kohlrabi, so I want to give it, I want to try it out. I am not dedicated to making sure we have kohlrabi this year. It sounded like fun. And our kohlrabi is up potted. It's pretty distinctive. Honestly, it looks like, oops. It looks like kale. Is the best way for me to describe it, honestly. Now we are on to our tomatoes. So tomatoes, the great thing about tomatoes is, let me go ahead and pull a tomato out for you. Let me figure out what, I think, let me refresh. Okay, the Romas are on the outside. The top two are my Amish paste, and then these are my cherry. Okay, so let's do the cherry first. We're gonna do cherry tomatoes first. Okay. So they are starting to get a little root bound, so it is a good time for us to do this. But I only want one of each cherry tomato, so maybe I'll see if anybody wants cherry tomatoes. Oh, but these are separating beautifully. Oh, yeah, we needed to do this now before that got too bad. So let me go ahead and get 3 pots. And let me show you how you get beautiful tomatoes, strong tomatoes. Okay, so you see these tiny little hairs along the tomato stem? If you plant the tomato up until the bottom leaves, roots will grow out from that stem, and then the tomato just gets stronger. The whole plant will just get hardier and hardier. And I don't want this pot to be too terribly full, because eventually we're going to tear off those bottom leaves, which are the starter leaves. They have a name, and I don't remember what the name is. But essentially what I'll do is once the plant puts on another set of leaves, I will actually break those off, and then roots will also grow from there. Again, we want these tomatoes to be as strong as possible because then they're healthier. And I don't know if you could tell, but these tomatoes are a little on the purple side, so they are lacking some nutrients. And the key to improving the nutrients there is to actually spray them with water that has a little bit of Epsom salt in it. That's what I've been told, and it's supposed to help because it's a sign of a nutrient deficiency. So this is our Sun Gold tomatoes, was what I just pulled up. Sun Gold. Oh, okay. And then the next is going to be our fox cherry. So these ones are a little bit bigger. So let me see if it's a little bit easier for you to see the little hairs on that stem. So we are going to plant up to here on this tomato. So those are the fox cherry. Let me get some more tape. And then this is how we're going to do the rest of our tomatoes. Okay, we're on to our Amish paste tomatoes. Ooh, I don't know if we're going to be able to get these ones separated. That's to be determined. Okay, all of our tomatoes are up potted. We ended up with, oh goodness, we have 3 Amish paste, 3 fox cherry, and 3 sun gold tomatoes. We ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 San Marzanos, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16 Romas, which is what I was hoping for. So now let's just hope they all survive this transplant. Okay, and the last thing we need to transplant, or up pot, I should say, are our flowers. These have honestly really needed to be up potted for a while. They're looking a little just stressed. So that's what we're doing. And hopefully, the next question is whether or not I have enough soil for all of this. So I am likely, I'm going to up pot the cosmos and the marigolds. I don't know if I'm going to have enough soil for all of this, so we will just see. I have enough trays, which is good. The other question is whether or not I have enough pots. Wow. Thankfully, later tonight, I will take you along with me as we do this. I'm also planning on transplanting our broccoli and our cabbage into the garden, and that will free up some square pots as well. And so if I need to delay this a day, that's what we'll do. But let's see what we can accomplish right now. These are Cosmos. So let's go ahead and get them up potted because these are definitely looking stressed. Of all of the flowers, these ones are looking the most stressed. So I want to get these at least up potted. Cosmo. Awesome. All right. Well, we got the Cosmos potted up. Those are the most stressed looking plants that we have right now. And the Cosmos have a very distinctive leaf, so I'll be able to know that those are up potted, and that's what that is. I'll also make extensive notes. And then lastly, what I want to get taken care of, so let me clean these guys off. Let me just double check that the roots on the rest of these, they look okay. These can probably handle being in here a little bit longer because they germinated a little bit later than the Cosmos did anyways, which is totally fine. Let's see. Let's try and keep the Cosmos all together. So our average last frost date is May 13th. And I want to go ahead and get our zucchini and our pumpkins all a good head start. So let's get this out of the way. Let's take a look. And so the thing with squash is they say squash you should direct sow. And the reason for that is squash don't like their root systems to be disturbed. So the way that we're going to kind of get around that is I'm actually going to start the seeds in these big pots. And I'm only going to put one per pot. And we are going to hope for the best. And that way, once I'm just going to plant them in here. And then once our last frost date is gone, I'm going to get them hardened off. And they will go directly from this pot into the ground. We're also only going to put one seed per because separating them will disturb the roots. And the chances of then the squash not making it increases. So here's our zucchini. There's our pumpkin. Okay. And I need to mix up a little bit more soil. We are down to the last of the soil as well. So it's a good thing I stopped transplanting. Other things are just going to have to wait. We're not firing on all cylinders today. Apparently, we're going to use seed starting mix. Duh. Okay, so let's figure out how many zucchini we want. I want at least, I'll start 2 of each Black Beauty zucchini and golden zucchini. These are both seeds from In My Gardener. I haven't grown zucchini from seed before. I was gifted a zucchini plant last year and it was very, very prolific, so I don't want a lot. We're going to do our Gerardale pumpkin, we're going to do butternut squash, and we need to start our cucumbers. So that is on the list. That's the plan. The seed starting mix doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, so I am going to dump some in here so I can break up the clumps. farm castings to this. Just to help the seeds out. I'm not actually sure if I need this many pots or not, but I do know I can only fill this many pots. There we go. So whatever I'm starting today, it has to fit in here. I can always use that other mix. Honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. I just like the seed starting mix because it doesn't have all the chunky stuff. Okay, so we're going to do 2 Black Beauty. So we're going to put 1. Let's press that down a little bit. Okay. How deep did it say to plant these? It says 1/2 inch deep. I'll put 2 seeds per thing just for sake of germination. But then whichever one germinates first survives. Okay, so these 2 are zucchini. Let's do the golden zucchini. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 2 per. But honestly, we only want 2 plants in total. That is what Reed and I agreed upon. Okay. Zucchinis. Okay. Happy to have those crossed off our list. Let's see. Then we're going to do our pumpkin. I don't know if I want 2 of these or not. Oh goodness. I don't know if this will even let me. Ooh, these are some big seed. Let's see. What are the directions? Recommended 2 to 4 weeks after last frost. 2 to 3 seeds per mound. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll put 2 seeds per thing. We'll do the same thing with our okay. I only want 2 plants though, I think. This is my only pumpkin, so I'm just going to label it pumpkin. These butternut squash seeds are pretty old. So we're probably going to do 3 per cell. And I think I only want 1 butternut squash plant anyways. Okay. Sweet. And then these are going to be cucumbers. I want to go ahead and try the M.I. Gardner National Pickling Cucumber this year. We can also direct sow these. So I'm not super worried. How many does this say? Oh, cool. So we'll put, you know, I may just direct sow the cucumbers. It says 3 to 4 weeks after the last frost to direct sow. We'll go ahead and put 2 per thing. And then we'll direct sow any others that we want. But then this way we at least got a head start. Cucumber. Fantastic. That's exciting. I'm very happy we got this done. Sweet. Okay. And I'm going to need to get some more potting soil. So now all I need to do is water all of this in. And we shouldn't, aside from the flowers, I don't know, and the basil. Okay, so we still have some more up potting that we need to do, but I definitely need more soil in order to get that accomplished, which is fine. I can go get more. I just don't feel like going to get any right now. But I am so excited that at least we got our tomatoes up potted. They're going to look so good. They are going to spring to life even more. They're going to look really happy here in about a week. So thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.